Hi guys, I'm late. So I just wanted to, oh, okay, just like a woman. I know. I know. Whatever, I had to restart. So, okay. Nice to see you, Douglas. Malpal. Star Dog is here in spirit. Mm, Today we're going to, can you hear me? Maybe not. Hold on. Yeah, I can hear it downstairs, so I'm sure that you can hear me, but let me check my audio. Wrong. How's that? That's better. And my speakers are right. Okay. Okay, guys, we're going to talk baseball today. We're going to talk about the Yankees and whoa, those Yankees. I mean, we're going to do some nuggets. I have some nuggets here too. We're also doing ton of nuggets tomorrow. So, Lenny's on the nugget mission. He's on a mission for nuggets. Thank you, Leonard. Let me just get my notes open. You know how I roll. It's kind of early still. 12:30 Saturday. Half the day is over already. Okay. So the first thing I saw when I woke up this morning was Yankees fans pissed off in the 8th inning, throwing things out onto the field. And I mean, you want to feel bad. Like I'm not a Yankees fan, first of all, and first and foremost, I'm not a Yankees fan. So let's just get that out of the way. But I still don't ever want to see a team like this disappointing to the fans. And it's not even that the Yankees fans are like, they always they have high expectations because they're used to having a good team. They're used to putting a good quality product on the field every year. So even in their down years, the Yankees are supposed to be, the fans expect them to be at least an enjoyable game at the ballpark. Okay. That is not the case. And I mean, I have a big problem with Aaron Boone because I think that he needs to be more strict. I think he needs to be like more, you need to see like more hustle, more aggressive attitude. And all you ever hear come out of Aaron Boone's mouth is like, oh, they did the best they could, or like, he puts 100% in, and he never ever talks about the negative. He never ever says like what you could do better. He just talks about, it's almost like he's an emotional babysitter or something. He doesn't want to hurt anybody's feelings. You just never see him like stand up for something, And I think that it's getting to the fans. The fans were pissed. They entered the 7th inning yesterday, 8-0. It was 8-0 against them. And the fans had just like had enough. Aaron Judge did hit a home run in this 8th inning, but still, it's just, the Yankees fans were throwing all kinds of stuff. Anything they had that was litter, they were throwing it out there. The announcer was like, please stop throwing things out. It wasn't like crazy. It wasn't like one of those things that's going to make history or anything, but it was obvious frustration coming out of the Yankees fans. And then you start to look at the stats so far this season, and you have to say to yourself, like, I don't blame them. They have the worst record in the entire American League right now. That's number one. Number two, it's everything I say right now. You have to keep in mind that it's only been 8% of the season for them. So they basically have plenty of time to turn it around if they get their beat together. And Aaron Boone is not sparking a light or lighting a spark under anybody right now. He's resting Stanton. He's allowing, like, he doesn't even get annoyed or bench Sanchez when he's out there. He doesn't like run out plays. He doesn't hustle. Gary Sanchez needs to sit and watch video of Bryce Harper like for the next 8 hours. He needs to watch every single time that Bryce Harper even makes a connection to the ball with the bat. He is off running as hard as he can until he reaches the base and somebody tells him to go home. That's it. Like, he is 100% hustle all the time. And you could just really see that this is not the case with the Yankees right now. They played the first of 3 against the Rays at home, and they've already played the Rays. They played them 4 times so far this season. They are 1-3. They were outscored 26-15 by the Rays just in those 4 games. They have as many errors as hits. Okay, 3 errors, 3 hits. This is yesterday. 3 errors and 3 hits just yesterday. They've lost 6 out of their last 8. And I just think that the fans they've had enough of this from their beloved Yankees. Okay. DJ LeMahieu, what is he doing? He hit into 3 double plays. He's 0 for 4 yesterday, ending his 23-game regular season hitting streak against the Rays. He's probably the best of all of them at this point, but they all have some kind of problem. They all have something. Judge, he hit 2 home runs on Wednesday. Then he missed a game against the Rays because he's got, who knows? Does he need a rest, or is his body already falling apart for the season? Because your guess is as good as anybody's at this point. It's like throw a dart and see what's wrong with Aaron Judge. But is he being benched because Aaron Boone's a weenie, or is he being benched because he's got problems? Aaron Hicks, he's not even hitting at all. He refused to play the other day because he's upset about some political nonsense. He won't play baseball. It's like, what? You won't play baseball because of social? Okay. It just gets to a point where, there's millions of Americans that don't have jobs right now, and this guy refuses to go to work for a couple hours. Like, use your platform to make a difference. Use your platform to say something, stand for something, but don't quit. Like, you refuse to play. You're going to boycott your job because of something that happened that you didn't like. That's what we're teaching our kids to be like. If something happens that you don't like, you could just not go to work that day. Right? Come on, man. Plus he doesn't deserve to take a day off because he's horrible. He was 0 for 3 yesterday. He's 2 for 26. He's batting .077 left-handed. How about this, Aaron Boone? Tell Aaron Hicks not to bat left-handed anymore because he's not good. Stanton. So, he's hitting it, but he's not hitting it high and far. He's not hitting it out of the park. He's hitting the ball in play. And so, then when the ball's in play, you have to be like Brandon Nimmo, who's actually hitting like 5-something with the ball in play so far this season. But that's another story on another team. The Mets haven't even really played any baseball yet. They've had 8 games postponed or 7 games postponed, and they played 7. It's like one of the two. Maybe it's reversed. Maybe they played 8 and they have 7. They've had 7 postponed. But either way, half of their games have been postponed. They have 250 at bats total when the Padres have over 500 at bats so far. So the Mets have just been like, you can't really blame the guys. You can blame them for never scoring any runs when DeGrom is pitching. But other than that, if you're a New Yorker, the Yankees are way higher on the shit list right now than the Mets. Okay. So, all right. Gleber Torres, he's got what's his problem? He can't play defense now all of a sudden. He never has been that great at defense, but he had that awesome year where he hit so good that anything he did defensively wasn't going to be bad enough to bother anybody, and especially not fantasy people. But now, of course, here we go. His defense has been bad, and his offense has been bad. Gary Sanchez, he looks better behind the plate, but he's still a problem with errors. He's got errors. He doesn't hustle. He's a problem in general. He's on all kinds of lists for like the most home runs by a catcher in this many games or by the age of 25 or any of this stuff. It's all just a bunch of horse manure if you can't do your job behind the plate. And obviously he can't do his job behind the plate. So when he doesn't do his job behind the plate and then he tops it off with his lack of hustle, okay? And you could just tell by the look. I'm sorry. I shouldn't be judgmental. I don't know the guy personally, and I don't know his workout regimen. I don't know how much he puts into the game of baseball when we're not watching him on TV. So, I don't know how much effort he's putting in, but I would be willing to bet that it's not very much. That's just the type of vibe that he puts out. He really does. It's like he puts out the vibe of the perfect sophomore slump type player who thinks they have it all figured out and refuses to adjust to the league when they figure you out. Like, that's why sophomore slumps happen. They just a bunch of youngsters that don't think they need to do anything to change because everything worked for them last year. Fine. Why would they have to do anything extra? But we all know that you kind of do have to make sure that you stay ahead of them figuring you out, because they will find your holes. They will totally target them. Anyway, Gary Sanchez is just not a hustler. I don't like it. Doesn't bother me that bad because I'm not a Yankees fan, but I'm trying to put myself in the shoes of a Yankees fan. I do live on Long Island, so I feel like, I don't know. I don't like any team doing this. And I don't really like fans throwing stuff on the field, but that's the emotion of the fan. That these people want their team to win. They want to see that their team is trying. When they see these things coming out of the Yankees, like today, they're going to put out their Odor is joining. He's been on the team, but he's going to play today. So, Jay Bruce is a nightmare. Okay, Jay Bruce. He number one. If you're Jay Bruce and you're not hitting, you are worthless completely. And now he's horrible at first base. He's going to be out of the lineup for a second straight game. He went 1 for 19 with 9 strikeouts over the last 5 games. Gio Urshela is actually he's like blue sky on a cloudy day. And it's not really that great, but it's something. At least seems like he's, probably doing what he did last year, which isn't excellent, but it's absolutely playable. And the fans aren't going to throw stuff at you if you are playing like Urshela. Okay, Clint Fraser, he's supposed to be starting in left. He's supposed to be the starting left fielder, but over the last week, he basically has platooned with Brett Gardner, which Gardner, he's always a reliable fallback option, okay? But he went 0 for 3 with 3 strikeouts. He has no RBI in 63 plate appearances so far this season. Clint Fraser. We did not expect that coming out of the Yankees. Okay. So their ground ball rates are too high. Their power rates are too low. They have a 48.3% ground ball percentage. It's the fourth highest in MLB. They have 13 home runs. That puts them 16th overall. That's not horrible. It's right in the middle. They rank towards the bottom, though, in both line drives and fly ball rates. Their isolated power rate is in the bottom third. They're 23rd in hits out of 30. They're 25th in runs scored out of 30. They're the number 3 to 6 hitters. They're batting 146. They have a 241 on base percentage, a 248 slugging, a 449 OPS, and that's just dead last in all of MLB. Garrett Cole is a ray of sunshine, right? He's 2-0 with a 1.47 ERA. He's allowed 3 runs in 18 1/3 over 3 starts. The rest of the starters in New York, they're 1-5 with a 6.45 ERA. They've given up 27 runs in 37 2/3 innings. That's pretty much all that needs to be said about the Yankees and their problems, right? I mean, they need to do something. They're dead last in the whole American League for standings. And I just wish that I don't even care. Like I said, I don't ever root for the Yankees to win, but like if I was their fan, I already am annoyed by Aaron Boone. I think that Girardi was one of the best managers in baseball history. I do. I think he was a great manager. Girardi always kept his cool. He was, yes, he's not perfect, right? But he's right up there with some of the best managers, and they let him go. And this is what they get. Aaron Boone, the last couple years, he just hasn't been able. Yes, the only reason that the Yankees have been good is because the players are good. But it's not Aaron Boone doing anything magical. He is the worst. He's just the worst. I wish he would just tell his players to get off their ass and hustle. And if I heard him say that to his players, I would have a lot more respect for him. That's all. I'm a big fan of Ozzie Guillen, okay, type style management. Ozzie Guillen did not pull any punches, and you did not lack. You did not just be lackadaisical when Ozzie Guillen is your manager. You hustled. And if you didn't hustle, you heard all kinds of languages and words. I think there needs to be more Ozzie Guillens around. It seems like they're becoming more and more scarce. And actually, they're extinct, basically, in baseball, okay, these days. But baseball could use a couple. Anyway, that's my opinion. 17 pitchers were used yesterday in the Dodgers and Padres game. It went into the 10th inning. The Dodgers did win. Sorry, Malpal, but what a game, right? What a game. So Dave Roberts said that it felt like a playoff game. I think he's right because both teams did not give up the whole time. It was a really good game. Interesting, stuff was happening. The Mets have only played 8 games. We've talked about that. They've had 7 games postponed. These are the Nuggets. I already told you they have 250 plate appearances or at bats, and the Padres have over 500. Brandon Nimmo, I did mention this too. He's hitting 650 when he puts the ball in play. So I can only imagine. That must be his batting average on balls in play, 650. That's not going to last, but I do not think that Nimmo is going to just completely lose all of his talent. I think that he's a decent hitter, and I think that he'll continue to get on base enough that the Mets leave him at the top of the order. And we'll have to see if I'm right about that. But Nimmo is not flashy, but he's useful. He's just like set it, forget it type guy. Max Scherzer, had a big deal yesterday. He passed up Cy Young for the 22nd most strikeouts in his career, of all time. Is Max Scherzer first ballot Hall of Fame? No, nobody is. Okay? Nobody is. Well, Mariano Rivera was, but you don't see it very often. Okay? So he'll probably get passed over because of these stupid, ridiculous ways that they do things. Maybe he will be first ballot because it seems like lately you're getting kind of like where, you either have to put a guy into the Hall of Fame on his first ballot, or you have to put in somebody that you think did steroids and you're anti-steroids and you're not going to vote anybody in that did any kind of substances that you know of. So, if you have 3 guys on there that are known to be taking some steroids or whatever, it's going to be one of these years coming up where it's going to either be a first ballot guy or it's going to be one of those guys, and we'll see. Frankly, doing steroids, I don't know. Cheating, apparently everybody cheats. So I just feel like that's just the case. Everybody's cheating if they can. If you give them an opportunity to cheat, they're going to cheat. And so the best thing that baseball could do is try to make the rules so that people aren't encouraged to cheat, basically. So my dad used to say it's like leaving the wallet in the driver or passenger seat and the window rolled down. Like it would even tempt an honest person, so whatever. Their job is to win games. And if they don't do that, then they don't be great. So whatever, you know how it works. Jake Cronenworth is amazing. I hope that he's owned in everybody's leagues. For real, I don't know if I should even have to say this, but he might be just such an unknown name that maybe he's available. And among 186 qualified hitters, he has a swinging strike percentage of 0.4%. It's the lowest in all of baseball. He's always been pretty patient, but right now he's not getting faked out by anything. Oh, except for Kenley Jansen faked him out. He struck out Jake Cronenworth yesterday on 95.1 mile per hour fastball. And he has only 1 strikeout on a pitch faster than that, and it was in 2019. And I don't even care about that tidbit, but Gregory Polanco. We're talking about Gregory Polanco, but last year we had a guy that used to come to the chat room named Shaman. He would always just, out of the blue, he would just say Gregory or Polanco stinks, Polanco sucks, Polanco. And we kind of made it a joke around the chat room, a little bit. And like somebody yesterday was like, should I choose Polanco or Jonathan India? And it's like, wow, just the fact that even Polanco's in that conversation it says something. He homered off of Devin Williams, who I have to bring up because I have him on a couple different teams, and there's no way in the world that I would be dropping Devin Williams right now, even though I'm as disappointed as the next guy. I am wondering what the hell. I've been wondering what the hell ever since spring training started, and he's nowhere to be found. And I'm not positive, but he might have actually ended last season hurt, so spent all of the offseason getting better, and then now something's wrong. I'm not dumping him. I will not throw him out yet. And I will try to bench him if I can. Otherwise, I'm putting him active because he's, I don't have a lot of great explanation for that. Maybe because he doesn't pitch enough innings to like really kill me. And I do think that he'll get it together soon, I hope. He's still very new, so we don't have a lot to go by with him. And really, my instinct is just coming out of what I saw last year. It has nothing to do with, any kind of consistency on his part because he's brand new. And I still think he's a better pitcher than this. So, I mean, I haven't dug deep, but I hope that I'm wrong when I say that, the only thing that makes a pitcher from that good to that bad or this bad is an injury of some kind where he's like not even thinking about the fact that when you're hurt, your body just tends to put more weight or whatever on the other muscles around the hurt muscles. So like, even if you don't know you're doing it, if you have like a little bit of a sore elbow or a little bit of a sore back or whatever, your body is automatically going to adjust and it's going to change your mechanics. And this could be the cause. It's really the most reasonable explanation, but we'll have to see. I'm not throwing him away yet. Nope, I'm not doing it. There's a lot of players I will throw away right now, like Logan Allen, which we'll talk about in a minute, but I'm not throwing away Devin Williams because I think he's better than this. Fernando Tatis did come back, and hopefully he'll stay back. And he did commit his 7th error yesterday, though, in just 6 games. And, like, who the hell cares, right? I mean, what's the point of even caring about that? Because nobody's going to bench Fernando Tatis. They just paid him, like, $400 million or whatever they paid him. He's not going to the bench. And, as long as his shoulder is – maybe these errors are partially due to his shoulder. But I will say this, and Lenny and I talked about it on the show last week, and we'll probably talk about it more tomorrow, but Fernando Tatis, the fact that he's back, that's great. But honestly, if you get a decent offer for Tatis, you really have to consider it. And the reason I say that is because this guy is one of his best assets. One of his best traits is the fact that he can steal bases. And, how many bases are you going to steal when you're afraid that, like, you just dislocated your shoulder? And so if you can slide feet first every time you steal a base, that's fine. I mean, I don't know if he has that type of talent, but you know what I mean? Like, he's definitely not be diving into any base head first. He's not going to be leading off far enough to have to dive back to first, or, I think that his stolen base totals are absolutely going to suffer because of this shoulder thing. And not only does it affect your, like, not ability to steal, but your instinct to steal. You're not going to have it as much. You're going to be always thinking about, like, that's going to come into play when he considers, stealing a base. And it could really affect his power too. I mean, you do use your shoulders when you're taking a big old swing at the ball, at a fastball. I think his speed will be affected more than his power. But you got to really just at least consider a trade for Tatis. Because when you start to figure out, like, where your weaknesses are on your team, then you trade from strength. And if Fernando Tatis is healthy, there's going to be somebody out there willing to pay for him, to trade some pieces for him, to just be open all the time. There's nobody that is not tradable. Nobody. No player. Especially these rookies, prospects that you guys all love so much. prospects are the best trade bait in the world. And I don't care if you're in a dynasty league or whatnot. If you're trying to win now, you will trade prospects like Kelenic. Please, people, Kelenic is probably worth more to any dynasty owner right now than he will be when he makes it to the bigs. I don't even know if he will make it to the bigs this year. I mean, he hasn't been to all the levels. I don't think he's been. I mean, it's not the first time, right? That's what Malpal would say. I can hear it in my head, like Malpal saying it wouldn't be the first time that a player didn't hit AAA before they made it to the majors, and that's very true. It's very true. But you heard Mather, you heard Kevin Mather, who said that they tried to extend him an offer, and he said no. They're not going to bring him up any sooner than they have to. And I don't think that's going to change just because he got caught saying that. Obviously, they didn't let him start the season in the majors. So if they were trying to like look good or trying to like make up for it, they may have done that. But first of all, Kelenic, he's a trade chip. And I say that with all of my might. Okay? He's a trade chip. Cody Bellinger. A hairline fracture, Cody Bellinger. Well, okay, if it's as good as Gallen's hairline fracture, then he's okay. But he's got a problem with his left fibula. No timetable for his return. He was injured when he was spiked on a close play at first base in Oakland on April 5th. I don't believe that. I think he's been injured. He's got all kinds of injuries. He's got shoulder surgery in November that he never even really fully healed from. He's got calf problems. This problem is in his leg, calf, whatever. Anyways, Wilson Contreras was hit yesterday. Okay, the Cubbies, they get hit all the time. I don't know why the people are treating the Cubbies like the Houston Astros. The Astros should be the ones getting hit with the pitches all the time. But the Cubbies are getting hit with pitches all the time. And they say they're sick and tired of it, okay? They're sick and tired of getting hit with pitches. Well, maybe they should back off the plate a little bit. I don't know. I haven't really watched them, but, do you think it's coincidence that they're just getting hit so much? He was one of 3 Cubbies. Wilson Contreras was hit 3 times. No, he was one of 3 Cubbies hit by pitches just yesterday alone, okay? They still have the major league lead, and last year they had the major league lead in getting hit with pitches. 13 so far this year, though, dude, already 13. And Cubbies they got hit 52 times last season. I don't know. There's something there, though. Maybe they should back up a little bit. I don't know. They began the day hitting the worst in the major league with a 168 batting average, and they left the game last night after stranding 12 runners. Moving on to Joey Gallo, who's reached safely in all 14 games so far this season. That's the longest streak to open a season for Texas Rangers since 2008. He was the only base runner the other day when Joe Musgrove threw the no-hitter because he got hit by a pitch. So he was the only base runner the other day. And yes, he's been on base every game. That says something for a guy that either hits a home run or strikes out, right? I think he's starting to figure it out a little bit, actually, at the plate. Has for a couple years now, maybe. Oakland A's, dude, their starting pitchers are they have a 3.13 ERA over the 7-game winning streak that they're on right now. They're the only team since 1991, that was the Mariners, to have both a 6-game winning streak and a 6-game losing streak in the first 14 games of a season. And I think it's the interesting part about the Oakland A's is that they started out so bad and they've actually won 7 in a row. I think they've won 8 out of their last 10 games, or 7-3 in their last 10. Their starting pitchers they have a 3.13 ERA. When they were 0-7, their pitchers had a 7.91 ERA. That was the first 8 games. So their ERAs dropped in half over just since the season start at halfway mark. Their ERA dropped in half. Laureano, he's stealing bases like crazy. Okay, he has 8 stolen bases in the first 10 games. That's twice as many as the next guy, which I think is Javi Baez or Machado or something. He's attempted twice as many steals as any other player in baseball so far. He says that Elvis Andrus was a huge influence on his study of base stealing nuances. So yeah, it's Garrett Hampson, Machado, and Javi Baez. Wilson Ramos leads the entire American League with 6 home runs on the season. When did you see that happen last? When a catcher has the most home runs in baseball? That's not normal. Anyway, in 2020 total, in all of the games, 58 games, Tigers catchers, they combined for 5 home runs for the whole time. 58 games. And he has 6 right now. Just him. Go Wilson Ramos. I think he was a great find. Catchers. Late catcher, too. Absolutely fantasy relevant late round catcher. Wilson Ramos is the picture that you'll see in the dictionary for that. Cleveland has won 7 of 10. They have the youngest pitching staff in baseball. All of their starting pitchers are at least 26 or younger. Nobody in their rotation is 27. Okay, that's all. Let's talk about some players, okay, to pick up or maybe to look at this weekend. I just basically go and I say, who am I picking up? What do I need to do? And that's when the players end up on this list. I also read articles at RotoWire and The Athletic, and I did see our friend Scott Engel is doing the weekly waiver wire pickup article now at The Athletic, so that's good. We love Scotty Engel. But anyway, for catcher Jacob Stallings, Pittsburgh, there's a couple of Pittsburgh Pirates on this list because there's a couple of Pittsburgh Pirates that are actually doing decent this year, and Jacob Stallings is okay. Like, he's not going to hit home runs. But he does bat towards the middle of the lineup, like 6th, maybe 5th or 6th. He's improved he's 31 years old, so he's not going to be like improving all the time. It's not going to be like, he's getting better. He's going to get better. No, he's 31. So it is what it is. He's not that much of a power hitter, but he's definitely not going to kill your batting average. He did show improvement so far in the season. He's only had 12 games so far, but he's been showing better strikeout percentage, better walk rate. He's hitting 270 right now, but he's got 11 strikeouts, so don't get all crazy on me, okay? It's .413 on base percentage, though. No home runs, 6 RBIs, 4 runs, 4 extra base hits, he'll get a lot. He should get a decent, he's the starting catcher in Pittsburgh. So if he's overlooked in a 2-catcher league, then go ahead and give him a couple dollar bid, all right? And only if you need a catcher. Don't be throwing anybody away for him. Cesar Valdez, relief pitchers is where we're going now. I think I have like offense mixed in with pitching, but whatever. It's the way I do it. I'm a lefty. Cesar Valdez, okay? He got another save yesterday. He gave up a hit and he struck out 1, scoreless 9th inning. That's his 3rd save, but he also has 2 wins, okay? And his ERA is 1.23. He's got a 109 whip, 7 strikeouts and 1 walk in 7 1/3 innings so far. He should absolutely be owned or rostered in fantasy because he seems to be getting the opportunity. Plus he's getting wins, so I don't know where that comes from, but that's probably just luck. In Seattle, you have Kendall Graveman and Kenyon Middleton, and they're both getting saves. And this is an iffy situation, especially since their actual closer that they were planning on, I don't even know if they had a plan for a closer going into the season, to be honest with you, okay? I don't know for sure that they had a plan, but it seems like they're not going to get. I don't really hold against a team if they're bad and you say to yourself, like, how many save opportunities are they going to get because they never win any games? And, okay, that's, like, partially true, but I think it's really the way that we think about it. I think that it's a little over-embellished because Seattle is going to have saves. They're going to win games, and they're going to win close games, so they're going to have save opportunities, you could say the Dodgers are going to win a bunch of games, but they're going to crush everybody around, and they're going to beat them from like 7-1, and then you don't qualify for a save no matter what. So, it could be working both ways. But for Seattle, I don't know, man. I would be hesitant to pick up either of these guys. Lenny really likes Kenyon Middleton, I think that's who, because he has this guy in one of his leagues, or because he is partial to this guy, maybe because he had an idea that he could get saves before anybody else, so he's sticking with it, and I don't blame him. So in the outfield, you have Adam Duvall, who I just dropped on accident in Tout Wars. I don't know why I dropped him. I don't know what I was thinking. It was so stupid. It was like on a whim. I have all these players coming off the IL, which is great. And you look at Adam Duvall's batting average, and you're like, this guy's not good. He strikes out 30% of the time. He just doesn't have great. I mean, he is absolutely. If he only walked a little bit more, he would be a 3 true outcome hitter. But right now, he's just a masher. He hits home runs. He's hit 3 home runs in the last 6 games, with 9 RBI, 6 runs, and he's batting .421, which is not going to last, people. Okay, but you know what? The thing is, last year he hit 16 home runs in 57 games, and if you put that on like what he was on pace to do, think about it. That's like 45 or 50. That's a lot of home runs, okay? It's a lot. Maybe 40 home runs. 40 something. 16 times 3 is what it would be. It's a lot. It's 48. It's 48 home runs, I think. But maybe I'm not that great at math. I don't know. But so far this season right now, he's had 7 extra base hits, 4 home runs. He's going to hit for power. There's no doubt about it. The ballpark hurts him a little bit in Miami, but this is what you have to suffer with, okay? He's going to play every day. He's been playing every day. He has 13 games so far, so he plays every single day, okay? His batting average is going to crush you if you keep him in your lineup long enough, but I can't believe I dropped him. He is absolutely do not drop right now. You should probably be picking him up if he's available. There's no doubt about it. You should be picking him up. If your league uses home runs, you should be grabbing Duvall. Okay? He hit 31 home runs in 2017. He hit 33 in 2016. In 2018, he only hit 15, but he only had 384 at bats. So, you know, there's that. And then he hit 10 in 2019. He had 120 at bats. So it is what it is. We know what we get out of him. 30 or more homers with a 30 or more % strikeout rate. You know, the trade-off is real. Jurickson Profar. He is great defensively. Well, he's been showing his defensive skills lately. I don't really know overall how good he is. I've never really heard him being talked about as far as the defense goes, but I do know that he can hit for a decent amount of power. I don't know how many stolen bases he is going to do, but let me tell you, already this year has 3 stolen bases. So, okay. He could, if he wants to, and he's only 28 years old right now. He's 28. So, you know, he could steal 15, 20 bases and hit 20 home runs if he continues to get playing time. But if he keeps with his defense like he was doing yesterday, okay, he will stay in the lineup. He will stay in. He's got no home runs yet, but that's the only reason that you're lucky enough to find him on the waiver if you do, because he doesn't have any home runs, so nobody's been noticing him. He's available in Tout Wars, and he's available in the Serious Host League that I'm in. I couldn't believe it, but he is. He's got a 292 average. I'm pretty sure he's going to hit he's going to compared to the rest of the MLB, which is hitting like 230 lately. Like, he's got a great batting average, so you can expect good batting average. I think he's going to continue to play. He's played in all 15 games so far. 15 games this season he's played in. So, 3 stolen bases, no home runs yet, but I would be more like, I'm sure he'll hit some home runs before it's all said and done. That's no doubt about it. Okay. He's got, in the last 7 games, he's batting 296. 2 of the 3 stolen bases came in the last 7 games. 33 plate appearances, but his on-base percentage is great. Okay. Everything. He should not be available. He qualifies at second base and outfield, so you got that going for you too. And I think that if he continues to hit well, they'll find a way. I don't know. I should ask Malpal, what do you think about Profar? I really feel like he's going to get time. He's been hitting too good to bench, but maybe the rest of the team has been hitting that good too. So tell me what you think about that, and we'll come back to you, Malpal. Nick Solak, he started off horrible. The only reason you're going to find him out there available too is because people got really antsy last week and they ditched him because he's not that fancy, and he was striking out. Like, his best asset is the fact that he doesn't strike out. He gets on base, and he's Nick Solak, he's good plate discipline. He's not real flashy with the other things, but he was striking out like a crazy man. Right now, yesterday he went 2 for 3, he hit a solo homer. That was his second home run in as many games, and he is not completely grown up and matured yet. So he actually, we haven't seen the best of Solak yet. He's 7 for 16 with 2 home runs and 6 RBI and 5 runs with just 2 strikeouts in the last 4 games. So he's absolutely waking up and should be rostered and active. Jed Lowry, of course, I got to bring up Jed Lowry. Okay, Jed Lowry. I don't know. Why don't I trust him? Oh, I don't know. Since he hasn't had any hits at all since forever. I mean, the ongoing thing that everybody likes to bring up is the fact that he didn't get any hits for the Mets. He had 7 at-bats for the Mets in 2019. He didn't get any hits. Big deal. 0 for 7, Like, that happens all the time. But he's had lots of problems. Leg injuries. He missed all last season. Anyways, Jed Lowry's fine, right? He bats second or third. He bats towards, the top middle of the lineup, so that's good. And he's got a 7. Look, he's got a 410 batting average on balls in play. That's one problem. That just says right there that it's probably a little luck going on with this. And he's got a good walk rate. He walks 12% of the time, and his strikeout rate is good too. I mean, he's got plate discipline. He strikes out less than 15% of the time. And right now he has a 7-game hit streak, including 6 multi-hit games straight, 6 straight multi-hit games. That's part of the 7-game hit streak that he's on right now. So 2 home runs, 10 runs, and 12 RBI. That's on the season. No, the last 6 games, he's got 2 home runs, 10 RBI. Batting .462. Okay, good luck. Don't spend all your money on this guy, okay? Please. There's just too many middle infielders available. He only qualifies at second base, so it's not, there's other choices if you want to spend high. Okay. Maikel Franco plays corner. He plays third base only. I was reading he was listed in somebody's waiver wire article. It was either RotoWire or The Athletic, so I don't want to take credit for Maikel Franco, but he's doing pretty good. Like, in the last 7 games, he's had 22 at-bats, 8 RBI, 3 runs. He's batting .273 and 5 walks and only 4 strikeouts. So, Maikel Franco's the everyday third baseman in Kansas City. Is he in Kansas City or Baltimore? I think he went to Baltimore. He was Kansas City last year. That's for sure. Now he's with Baltimore. I'm positive of this. Now he's with Baltimore. He's got 5 extra base hits overall, 1 home run, 12 RBIs. He's batting .220, but I think that'll come up, actually. That is not normal for him. I think he'll have a better batting average than that. He'll play every day. He's the starting third baseman in Baltimore, so that's what it is. Travis Shaw is next on my list. Now, Travis Shaw will qualify at first and third, so that's great, but it's still just corner. I don't know if he qualifies at the middle. I don't think he does, but I have him listed as a middle qualifier. I don't think he does. Okay, just consider him a corner. He leads the Brewers right now in RBI and home runs. He's tied with Avisel Garcia for the most hits on the Brewers team. He bats third. He plays every day at third base. He's batting .297 on the season. In the last 6 games, 25 plate appearances, he has 2 home runs, 6 RBI, 2 walks, batting .227. I'm not that much of a believer, but we look at his history. You could see in his stats that he's done this before, and he's not that surprising, I guess. Yeah, Douglas says that maybe the 2 years of Jed Lowry's injuries, maybe they were the Red Sox. Did he play for the Red Sox too at one point? I think he did. I think he came from the Red Sox. We could blame it on the Red Sox or the Mets. Jed Lowry's 2 years of injuries. might be the Mets' fault. Yeah, I think it's easy to blame most anything on the Mets. Yeah, Malpal says that now because Pham and Myers, because of those, then Profar will play a lot. Okay, so yes, I think. And Matt Hooper needs a second baseman. Hi, Matt. Nice to see you. We're talking second baseman. We're going to be talking them. I hope I have more for you on my list. Let's see. I have lots of pitchers to talk about, okay? And I feel kind of bad because we already talked about the second baseman, but I'm sure there's more that we could discuss. Let me look this up real quick. Let's find you a second baseman. So I'm going to do the host league. I'm going to just go by the host league, the players that are available in the host league that I'm in, Serious Host League, because it's a 12-team regular league, regular size league, regular roster size, everything. And so looking here at this, oh, Zach Mckinstry. How much do you think people are going to pay for Zach Mckinstry? I would be very careful paying too much for him. I don't know now because I don't know. With Bellinger's future not looking that great, Zach Mckinstry plays all over the place. He plays left field, center field, right field, shortstop, third base, second base. He plays all over the place. And, you know, Gavin Lux is day-to-day. I don't know, man. McKinstry, he's 25 years old. Is he available? Matt Hooper, maybe he's available in your league, but you're going to have to pay so much for him. Jed Lowry is probably available. Profar, we already talked about Profar. Wilmer Flores, you know he's my go-to. I'm a big fan of Wilmer Flores. Let's see what he's been doing. 13 games he's played in. He's hitting 154, so don't even go there. Just forget I said anything about that. Okay. Odor is going to get an opportunity to play. What a horrible. Maybe Tommy La Stella. He bats leadoff. Anyways, Profar, Jed Lowry, Adam Fraser was on my list for a second. He actually was on my list of waiver wire pickups, but it's not there yet with him for me. He's Pittsburgh. So, I mean, if he was on the Dodgers, maybe I would be thinking different. But, you know, he's just he can't qualify for a waiver wire pickup yet. So there's your guys. There's your second baseman. JT Brubaker, definitely. Now, so everybody's got like their own setup in their leagues, the way that, you know, when you pick up a player, what you can do with that player. If it's a pitcher, do you have to throw him in there to your active roster? He has to be active all week, or, you know, like in Tout Wars, we do two sections. We are able to change our pitching active roster on Fridays. So basically, if I pick up a player tomorrow, then he has to be active from Monday through Thursday. So I usually try not to pick up any starting pitchers that don't have a start between Monday and Thursday, but sometimes you do because sometimes it's worth it, right? So JT Brubaker, this is up to you. He pitched last night, so he's not going to pitch again until like Thursday, maybe Friday. I don't know. But he did get the first quality start for Pittsburgh Pirates so far on the season, okay? The first quality start. 1 earned run on 4 hits in 6 innings. So for me, a lot of what I base my 2-start pitchers or like who I'm willing to pick up, and it's usually we're talking about Tout Wars because I don't stream pitchers in any other league except for Tout Wars, and it's a points league. And so when I see that a pitcher went 6 innings, I'm like, wow, that's ding, ding, ding. So it's almost like I don't really care what his ERA is that much. I do not care what his WHIP is that much, but I do get docked for earned runs. I get docked for walks, and hits you get docked for. But see, you with 3 points an inning, it makes up for a lot of problems that your pitcher might have along the way. So every inning he goes is 3 more points. The fact that this guy, JT Brubaker, throws first outing, he went 4 innings, then he went 5 in the third, and now 6. So, okay, great. He's up to 6 innings. Like you hardly ever see that. So he struck out 8 yesterday, which tells me that he can strike out batters, right? He's playing against Milwaukee, pitching against Milwaukee, but He has a 1.76 ERA and a 1.04 WHIP. His next matchup, dude, his next game that he's starting is in Detroit. This is an absolute pickup streamer, whatever. Don't get too attached to him. He might blow up the next game. He struck out 18 and he's only walked 5 in 15 and a third so far. He's absolutely worth a pickup. The only thing, I mean, it'd be great if he was on a different team because Pittsburgh is not ever good for a pitcher. Last year, he made his debut. He's 27 years old right now, but he made his debut. He pitched 47 innings last year. He had a 4.94 ERA, which is not very good and not good at all. And his WHIP was 1.37, but his xFIP was 4.08, and his FIP was 4.08 and his xFIP was 4.14. So like they're very similar. So, a little over 4. You're not going to see this ERA under 2. Okay, this is not the type of pitcher that we're talking about here, but he does strike out batters. Last year he struck out 48 and 47 in the third innings. 4.94 ERA is not good, but right now he's pitching well. And absolutely pick him up for anybody that streams. Although lefties hit him pretty hard. They bat 287 against him, and so I would say if you see a team that he's facing, you say, how many lefties do they have? Are they like the Cleveland Indians where you just don't mess around with them because they're lefties all over the place? I don't know. They're actually a bunch of switch hitters on that team. So how about somebody, I can't pronounce his name, but I have to bring him up because he's pitching really good. And his name is Huascar Ynoa. Ynoa is the last name, okay? I don't know how to say it, so that's the truth. Starting pitcher in Atlanta. He was going to start in the bullpen, but he's actually in the rotation. He's probably not going anywhere because Mike Soroka has got problems now on top of his Achilles problem. Now he has shoulder problems. He's not coming back anytime soon. So his last outing, he threw 6 innings and he struck out 10. He only walked 1, and he gave up 3 hits and 1 earned run. So 55 out of 82 pitches were strikes, and he's got a 0.75 ERA and 15 strikeouts in 12 innings so far and only 2 walks, okay? That's great. Again, a guy comes in on April 3rd. He came in, his first appearance, 1 inning pitched. He was going to be in the bullpen, right? So then the next time he came out, April 7th, makes a start, 5 innings pitched. Then April 12th, 6 innings pitched. Last 14 days, I mean, it is what it is. All of his stats are in the last 14 days, right? So his next start, where's his next start? I can't remember where it is. Let me look. I like to look at projected starters. Let's just go ahead and check it out real quick. We're going to start tomorrow. Braves. We have pitching Saturday, not till next Saturday. I think is he pitching today? He might be pitching today. But he's scheduled for next Saturday against Arizona. We love it. Okay, we love it. Arizona coming to town. Okay, he's going to be able to face Arizona batters at home. It's a great pickup. If you don't have to put him in your roster and like waste a spot, because I mean, after today, if he pitches today, which I think he is, he's not going to pitch again until next Saturday. That's what I have on my list here, that he's scheduled for next Saturday. That means that he's probably pitching today or tomorrow. Either way, he's worth a look for sure. Cardinals have Kwang Hyun Kim. He's been dealing with back injuries, so he's going to actually make his season debut. He's scheduled to start the game against Philadelphia today. So check him out if he does well. He had 8 appearances last year. 7 of them were starts. That was his first major league season last year, and he posted a 1.62 ERA with a 1.03 WHIP in 39 innings. So he doesn't have a great strikeout rate, okay? 15.6% strikeout rate last year, but what are you going to do, right? How about this guy? Jeff Hoffman. We have a good friend named Jeff Hoffman, so cheers, Jeff Hoffman. He's the pitcher in Cincinnati that came over from Colorado who did not ever do well. Like he's not a youngster anymore, but it's kind of like he wasted a lot of his time in Colorado because it seems like okay, here's the deal. Here's what I figured out. So him again, April 4th, he went 5 innings, and then April 10th, he went 4 innings, and now April 16th, he went 6 innings. That means he can pitch 6 innings. So I like that, number one, off the bat. Number two, it's probably not going to last. I don't know. Cincinnati's not a great park for pitchers, but it seems like lately it's not really had that. Well, we could blame Luis Castillo's problems on Cincinnati ballpark, right? Because he's been absolutely horrific. He might as well be injured. Like, I don't know. I'd probably rather have him on the injured list than freaking out there with a 7 ERA. He's like my best pitcher in labor. Him and Gallen are both on my team. Anyway, okay. The Reds are scoring. Number one, the Reds are scoring runs like crazy. They've scored 67 runs to start the season. They scored over 9 runs per game at Great American Ballpark. So that's the most runs by a team in its first 7 home games of a season since 1900. Okay, that was when the Boston team was called the Bean Eaters, Boston Bean Eaters, but they were actually the Braves franchise in Boston. Anyway, they had 71 runs in the first 7 home games that year, 1900. That's the last time it was done. I mean, the Reds are on fire. Castellanos, ever since he got into that little, thing, they've been crazy. They were already kind of going crazy, but their hitting is on fire. You cannot take it away. So any pitcher that you throw out there representing Cincinnati is not going to it's not going to struggle getting run support. That's what we know, right? They have a positive 38 run differential. It's unbelievable. They've scored 67 and teams have scored only 29 against them. That's at home. It's the highest by any National League team through 7 home games since 1894. Wait, why are we saying we just already gave that feat to the Boston Bean Eaters? It's the most runs by a team in its first 7 home games of a season since the 1900 Boston Bean Eaters. Okay, it's the highest by any National League team through 7 home games since 1894 Cleveland Spiders. They were plus 44. Oh, the run differential is what we're talking about. The Reds, 38 run differential. Whatever it is, the Reds are going crazy scoring runs. That's all you need to know. Okay, there's a couple of hold on. Let me make sure I got everybody on here. Yeah, there's a couple of 2-start pitchers, but these are not guys that, like the pitchers I already talked about. Those are pitchers that are not 2-star pitchers, but they're worth a gander anyways. They're worth streaming for their next star or, filling in for whoever, whatever. But these that we're going to talk about now, they're 2-star pitchers coming up this coming week. And so again, I look mostly for you can't be that picky with 2-star pitchers to stream because a lot of times if they're any good, then they're already on somebody else's roster. Okay. But the ones that are available, okay, out of that heap, the ones that are available, also I try to look for obviously you try to look for good matchups, but you're also in points leagues. A lot of times you're streaming, you're in a points league. Points leagues seem like they're more conducive to streaming pitchers. But anyway, I try to find pitchers that can go 5 innings at least. Like I think it's a waste of time to add any pitcher that's like, weenie. That means like can't throw a lot of innings in one outing, Brad Keller. Okay. I do not like the matchup against Tampa Bay, but he's at home and that's a problem for me. I do not like that. It's very sketchy, but he goes to Detroit on Sunday and then that would be a much better matchup. So if you're able to pick him up, if you're able to stash him, whatever, there's not a lot to say about Brad Keller, except for the fact that he pitches much better at home than he does on the road. Like his ERA since 2019, his ERA at home is 3.30. On the road, it's 4.65. So there's a definite distinction between how he pitches at home and on the road. So the fact that he's facing Tampa Bay is not as bad as it would be if he was actually if they were traveling to Tampa Bay, and then it would be an absolute no way would I stream him. He doesn't strike out a ton of batters, right? And I mean, but he does go 5 innings, and you should get 5 innings out of him. He has allowed, though, 19 hits in 10 innings, and that's horrible. Anytime that you see that the hits allowed are much higher than the innings pitched, it's a bad thing. It's an easy way to look and see how effective a pitcher is just to glance, because usually the innings pitched are sitting right next to the hits. So you could just easily take a glance and see, like, if that's maybe the type of pitcher that you're looking for. Because if he's got 19 hits in 10 innings, it's just a bad, bad sign. However, last season he had 39 hits in 54 innings, and that's pretty good. That's definitely above average to be able to give up only 39. And plus he had a 2.47 ERA. He is so up and down. Anyway, it is what it is. He's pitching at home, and his second matchup is much better than his first. So he's like probably the last one on the list. Maybe I'm going like, I don't know. There's no order. There's just no order. There's just random order. Taiwan Walker. If he's available, I would say he would be my first grab, because I don't think that you necessarily need to drop Taiwan Walker after he has a 2-start week. I really think that he's rosterable in most leagues. If he's still available for some crazy reason, you should probably get him. He goes up against Arrieta. The Cubbies, who we already talked about, are like the worst hitting, one of the worst, just their batting average is horrible. He goes up against the Cubbies at Wrigley on Tuesday, and then he faces the Nationals at home on, he's a Met, so just want to make sure you know that. But the Nationals are coming to the Mets on Sunday. He's going up against Joe Ross, which is another guy that could totally be worthy of streaming this week. Absolutely. Joe Ross. I think he's on the list, but anyway, Taiwan Walker, he's whatever. Everybody already knows I'm a big fan, and I don't understand why he doesn't. Yes, I do understand, because he's been spending most of his time out injured all of his career. He's not hurt anymore, though. He threw 4 1/3 the other day against Philly, and he struck out 8. That's great, but he did walk 3 too, so that's not as good. But still, you can't qualify for a win with 4 1/3. But the outing before that, he threw 6 innings. He struck out 4. I don't know. His ERA is good. It's 2.61. So 2.61 in 10 1/3, 7 hits allowed, 3 earned runs, 12 strikeouts. The Cubbies ranked 7th for the most strikeouts out of 30 baseball teams, and they ranked 29th for the least number of hits in baseball. And I have to say that I'm not really giving them any credit for beating out the Mets, because the Mets have no at-bats. So the fact that they have less hits is not really it doesn't really explain the whole picture, because we're talking about a team that's played 15 games to a team that's played 7 games. And, of course the Mets are going to have less hits, but I guarantee on a percentage basis, they are nowhere near as bad as the Cubbies, who are dead last in hits, okay, for hitters. The Nationals, who Taiwan Walker will face on Sunday, they rank 24th in hits. So neither of these teams are hitting very good. But also, I think the Nats they're in the same boat as the Mets, I think. They do not have all of their games played, that's for sure. So I'm not trying to knock them that bad, actually. Josh Fleming was called up, okay, Tampa Bay. He goes up at Kansas City, so he travels over to see Danny Duffy in Kansas City on Monday, and then he faces. See, this is the problem with Fleming. The only reason I bring up Fleming is because he's worth keeping. He might be worth keeping on your roster. I might be biased too, because I actually made a trade for him, and this isn't a dynasty league, but I saw what he did last year, and I was like pretty impressed with his stats from last year, and I think that he could be a decent middle of the rotation type pitcher. Okay. One of the things I like about him is that his ground ball rate is unbelievable. He has over 60% ground balls. And if you do the formula that Malpal taught us, which is to add ground ball rate plus strikeout rate, and if it adds up to 70 or more, then the pitcher has a lot of opportunity to be good, really good. It's just one of those things. It's a formula, and I think it works, but this is my first year knowing about it. So I did notice that with Fleming, he's got, when you have over 60% ground ball rate, then your strikeouts don't have to be that big of a deal. But he's at like 62% ground ball rate plus 19% strikeout rate. That puts it way over 70. Okay. So that I like about him. In 2020, he pitched 32 and a third innings. He was only 24 years old, but he started 5 games, and he allowed 28 hits in 32 and a third, struck out 25. His ERA was 2.78. So, I mean, he did his debut went rather smooth, I will say. Right now he has a 1.80 ERA, but he just got called up, so he's only pitched 5 innings. But I think that he's worth keeping on your team. Now, I'll tell you the next matchup that he has in his 2-star week, because it's absolutely yikes. You just probably don't want to make him active. So this all depends on your situation in your league, but he's going up against Toronto and Ryu, which I don't like. So if you have a choice to pick him up, you better bench him that game, because Bichette is like a one-man wrecking ball right now. And, they could have the best offense in baseball when they start to like get their shit together. You know what I mean? Like they could any day. So, I mean, Lourdes Gurriel has been horrible, but he's another one. I mean, I benched him in one league, but I'm definitely not even going to consider getting rid of him at this point. So Logan Webb was on the list, but Logan Webb, I changed my mind about. And also I changed my mind about Logan Allen. Neither of these guys are, well, Logan Webb is better than Logan Allen. I think if I had to rank them in order, the Logans, if I had to rank them, I would probably put Logan Webb above Logan Allen. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that he pitches in San Francisco. And I still don't necessarily like his matchups this week. I put him on the list. I liked what he did this spring, and I liked what the other Logan did this spring. Logan Allen, Logan Webb, they both had a good spring. Logan Allen is very iffy at best right now for me. He's iffy at best. McKinstry, Profar, Segura. Okay, Segura had a great day yesterday. He was one of the DraftKings leaders, for points yesterday. And Segura is just pretty consistent player. Like I would say that if we were drafting today, out of those, I'm not sure where McKinstry would go, because he's kind of like the newest shiny toy. And Gene Segura is 31 and he's boring, but I would have him on my team for sure over McKinstry, maybe over Profar. I think over Profar. Who else? McKinstry and Profar. I would put Segura. I would rank them Segura, Profar, McKinstry. That's how I would rank them. But Malpal says he would rank them McKinstry, Profar, Segura. And I mean, the reason that I put Segura ahead of both of these other two is because, number one, it's his job security. He absolutely has the starting job in Philly. He is the starting second baseman every day. There's nobody else taking that job from him. He runs zero risk of losing that job to anybody. Okay, that's the first reason. The second reason is that he qualifies at third base and second base. I don't think he qualifies at shortstop anymore, because he only played there 4 times last year, but he played third base 24 times and he played second base 32 times. He doesn't strike out a ton. Like he strikes out, but he doesn't strike out crazy amount. He used to he doesn't really take walks, so his on-base percentage is not that great, but I'm telling you, he every year he does what he does, and he will hit like 6th or 7th in the order. He's going to hit probably 12 or 15 home runs. Will he steal any bases? I doubt it. He's just after 30. I just don't even expect any stolen bases, but his batting average will not hurt you. I think it's just based on consistency, really, for me. I'm taking Segura, and it's not because he doesn't have the highest ceiling, but he definitely has the best job security of the 3. McKinstry, how much are you going to have to pay for him? Dodgers, how much are you going to have to pay for McKinstry? And how long is he going to have his? How long is he? I guess AJ Pollock is hurt too. Gavin Lux is hurt right now, like day to day. AJ Pollock day to day. Bellinger's out, so his job security is relatively high at this moment. But what's going to happen when these guys come back? I guarantee AJ Pollock, when he's healthy, he's not going to be benched because they're paying him way too much money to bench him. That's just the way it is. With Gavin Lux, I think they want to get him, if he's healthy, they want to get him as many opportunity as they can because it's his turn, right? Zach McKinstry, he's 25. He came up last year. He played 7 at-bats. He had 4 games, 7 at-bats. He batted .286. But what's the ceiling for this guy? Because you look at his minor league numbers and you say to yourself, okay, in 2019 he stole 8 bases and he hit 19 home runs. So he steals bases and hits for power. He came up last year, he had 7 at-bats. No RBIs, nothing, none of that stuff. But what right now he's batting .326 with 3 home runs already. I don't believe it. So maybe Malpal has a better explanation. He bats at the bottom of the order. He doesn't have good job security. That's just my biggest flaw with him. The second one would be the age and the experience. Malpal, what do you think? Tell me about this guy, why you like him so much. Chisholm. Yes, Jazz Chisholm is going crazy. And as soon as you spend all your fab on him, he's going to stop hitting and running. Just saying. I like him. I actually have him on a team or two. But I did not go crazy get him. I drafted him in like one of the last rounds because of how good his spring was. It was one of the later drafts that I did. And rookies do scare me too. Good afternoon, Big Al on the prowl. Nice to see you. The only one we're missing is Unholy Toledo. The rest of the crew is here. And today, Malpal's daughter is going up on stage and she's going to compete in this America's Got Talent type thing. She plays the guitar. So I really hope that Malpal can videotape that for us because we are rooting for Mallory. Mallory Houston, we are rooting for you, young lady. Okay. A rookie's a rookie. I wish you would have came earlier. I don't know how long you've been here, Big Al, but Douglas will be on tomorrow about noon. I hope he stays at noon because that is perfect for us. We do our show from 7 to 10 on Sirius, and 888-963-2682 is the phone number to call in if you guys want to call between 7 and 10. If you have questions, whatever. I pretty much tell all my secrets now. And what else? Okay, guys, I've been talking and going on and on about this, but glad you could make it to my Saturday baseball show. Monday night's the round table. Hopefully, we still have a round table. I think we do. Ty France. He's bringing up Ty France. And, okay, yes, France is a different story than Mckinstry because of his job security, too. Because the Mariners aren't trying to win the World Series this year. I mean, of course they're trying, but they're probably not going to, and they know that. And Ty France, 26 years old, he already has 2 home runs on the season. Last year he hit 4 in 43 games. But see, look, man, this guy, he hit over 30 home runs. In 2019, he hit over 30. And in the minor leagues, you just don't see that very often. I mean, here's a guy that I could, if you said to me, like, he's a once in a generation player, I would be able to say, I understand why by looking at his stats, because he had over 100 RBIs in 2019, over 100 RBIs. Had over 100 runs. And that's between AAA and the majors. He had 184 bats in the majors. And yes, his batting average was .234, but it was his first season in the major league. So you can't really hold it against him. And you could say to yourself, this guy is he's a power hitter for sure. He had a great spring. I know he was hitting like crazy this spring. If he is available, if he's available, I would take him over any of these guys. Okay. I mean, obviously let's see where he qualifies because he's the DH for Seattle, but he's on the depth chart at first, second, and third base. So let me see where he played mostly. Last year in 2020, he played 5 games at first, 10 games at second, 6 games at third base, and 19 games at DH. So depending on your league, I mean, that is gold right there. That is position eligibility gold if he qualifies at these positions. He definitely qualifies at second base. Okay, but does he? Depends on your league. 6 games at third and 5 games at first. And this year, he's played 8 games at second, 1 game at first base, and 6 games at DH. So he definitely qualifies at second base. There's no doubt about it. Because if he didn't come in qualified, he is now. What else with him? I mean, he's got Ty France. I bet he's a big boy. Let's see how big he is. Oh, he's only 5'11". I assumed he was like Aaron Judge huge. He's not Aaron Judge huge. 5'11", okay, 217 pounds. Born in 1994, the year after I graduated high school. It's so crazy. This could be my kid. He was drafted in 2015 by your boy, the Padres, 34th round. Anyway, he's worth putting on your roster. There's no doubt about it. Okay, and he's owned in every league except for the ones that I drafted very early. Then he's not in. He's available in those leagues, but any of these leagues that we drafted later in spring, he is already on someone's team. That's it, you guys. Let's see if there's anything else to chat with about. San Diego State grad. He has to be good. Yeah, he has to be stocky too at over 200 pounds at 5'11", over 200 pounds. Have a great day, everybody. Good luck, Mallory Houston. I can't wait to see you.